You keep putting 32 PSI in your Mercedes because it sounds normal. That is the mistake. Your Mercedes was not built around a random air pump number. It was built around exact tire pressure for its weight, tires, load, and suspension. Get it wrong, and you quietly pay through uneven tire wear, higher fuel use, worse braking, strange steering, and suspension stress. Today we are breaking down 15 ways the wrong pressure damages your Mercedes, and number 1 is the silent damage most owners notice too late. Let's get to it. Number 15. You are using a generic number on a precision car. The biggest mistake most Mercedes owners make is thinking 32 PSI is a safe universal number. It is not. That number may have worked on an older car. It may have been printed on a tire shop chart. Someone online may have said it was close enough. None of that matters if your Mercedes pressure label says something different. Mercedes does not build one type of vehicle. A C-Class, E-Class, GLC, GLE, S-Class, AMG model, and EQ model all carry different weight, different suspension tuning, different tire sizes, and different load requirements. Some models may need a lower number in one condition and a much higher number in another. Some need different pressure at the front and rear. Some change depending on passengers, luggage, speed, or towing. That is why the correct number is not a guess. It is on the sticker inside the fuel filler flap, and it is also in the owner's manual. That sticker is not decoration. It is the answer Mercedes already gave you. The problem starts when owners ignore it and put the same number in every tire, every month, every season, no matter what they drive. A Mercedes is not cheap to buy. It is not cheap to maintain. Treating it like a basic car with a basic tire pressure number is how small mistakes become expensive ones. Everything else on this list begins with that one habit. The scary part? The damage has probably already started in a place so small you could cover it with your thumb. Number 14. Your contact patch is the wrong shape. Your tire does not simply touch the road. It presses into the road in a specific shape called the contact patch. That small footprint controls grip, steering, braking, tire wear, comfort, and stability. When the pressure is too low, the tire bulges at the sides. The outer edges carry too much load. The center of the tire does less work than it should. That creates shoulder wear, sloppy steering, extra heat, and less predictable braking. When the pressure is too high, the opposite happens. The tire crowns in the middle. The center of the tread carries too much load. Grip drops because less rubber is touching the road properly. The ride gets harsher, and the tire can bounce over rough surfaces instead of absorbing them. Mercedes suspension systems are tuned around a very specific tire shape. The engineers calculated how that tire should sit on the road before they tuned the steering, braking, damping, and stability control. Change the pressure enough, and you change the first part of the system. The car may still drive. It may still feel normal to someone who has never driven it correctly, set up. That is the dangerous part. The damage does not always feel dramatic at first. The wrong contact patch leads directly to the next problem, and most owners feel it through the steering before they ever connect it to tire pressure. This next one is what makes Mercedes owners spend thousands at dealerships chasing a problem that was never there to begin with. Number 13. Your steering stops. Feeling like a Mercedes spends serious money making the steering feel calm, precise, and controlled. That feeling does not happen by accident. The steering weight, the way the car tracks on the motorway, the way it turns into corners, and the way it feels under braking all depend on the tires behaving correctly. Low pressure can make the steering feel lazy. The car may wander slightly. Lane changes may feel soft. The front tires may feel like they are bending before the car responds. You keep correcting the wheel without realizing the tires are causing the problem. High pressure creates a different issue. The steering can feel nervous. The car may follow grooves and ruts in the road. Small bumps come through the wheel more sharply. Instead of feeling planted, the car feels restless. I have seen owners chase alignment problems, steering complaints, and suspension noises when the first question should have been simple. What pressure are you running? The dealer will happily sell alignments, tires, control arms, and diagnostic time. A bad pressure habit costs nothing to create and a lot to investigate later. If this is already making you want to check your fuel filler flap, hit the like button right now. The next problem is where the mistake starts taking money straight out of your pocket. Number 12. Your tires wear out. Early tires tell the truth. A Mercedes with the wrong pressure will eventually show the evidence across the tread. Low pressure wears the shoulders. That means the outer edges of the tire disappear faster than the center. The tire may still look usable from a distance, yet the edges are already close to finished. High pressure wears the center. The middle strip burns down while the outer tread still looks fine. That tire did not wear out because the brand was bad. It wore out because the pressure made the center do too much work. This is where owners start wasting money. A tire that should have lasted 40,000 miles may need replacement much earlier because one part of the tread was overloaded every day. Mercedes tires are not cheap. Run-flat tires are even worse. AMG sizes can make the bill painful very quickly. Tire shops see this constantly. Edge wear, center wear, feathering. Strange patterns. Owners blame the tire brand, the road, the alignment, or the car. Sometimes the real problem started at the air pump. Wrong pressure does not destroy tires in one dramatic moment. It takes a little life away on every drive until the replacement bill arrives early. Now, the next one is where wrong tire pressure stops, costing you hundreds and starts costing you thousands. Number 11. Your suspension takes the wrong beating. Most people forget that air inside the tire is part of the suspension system. That air helps absorb impacts before they reach the springs, dampers, bushings, wheel bearings, and steering components. Mercedes engineers know this. That is why they calculate tire pressure as part of the whole vehicle setup. When pressure is too low, the tire flexes more than designed. It may absorb some bumps softly, but it also moves around too much under braking and cornering. That extra movement forces the suspension to deal with loads it was not tuned to receive. When pressure is too high, the tire becomes too stiff. Road impact goes straight into the wheel and suspension. Potholes, bridge joints, speed bumps, and rough surfaces hit harder. The tire is no longer cushioning the car the way it should. Over time, that can accelerate wear in bushings, bearings, mounts, dampers, and steering joints. This does not mean one wrong air fill destroys your suspension overnight. That would be exaggerated. The real danger is repetition. Wrong pressure every week, wrong pressure every road trip, wrong pressure through winter, summer, and every pothole in between. By the time a knock appears over speed bumps or a vibration shows up at motorway speed, the wear may have been building for months. The next point is less dramatic, but you pay for it constantly. Number 10. You burn more fuel than you should. Wrong tire pressure makes your Mercedes work harder. Low pressure increases rolling resistance. The tire deforms more as it rolls. More rubber drags against the road. The engine has to use extra energy just to maintain the same speed. That extra energy becomes extra fuel. It may not sound like much on one trip. Over months, it adds up. If you drive often, wrong pressure can quietly cost you multiple tanks of fuel over the life of the tires. Electric Mercedes models are affected too. An EQ model with underinflated tires will not travel as far on the same charge. The battery still costs the same to charge. The car simply gives you less distance for that energy. That is what makes this mistake so annoying. You do not get better performance. You do not get more comfort in the way Mercedes intended. You just pay more to move the same car. A few minutes with a pressure gauge can save money every single week. Number 9 is where this gets genuinely uncomfortable because we are no longer talking about money. We are talking about whether your car can actually stop in time. Number 9. Your braking distance gets longer. Mercedes braking systems are powerful for a reason. The brakes, ABS, tires, and stability systems are designed to work together. That system assumes the tires are inflated correctly. Wrong pressure changes that. Low pressure can make the tire deform under braking. The contact patch may look larger, but it is not stable in the right way. The tire can squirm. The braking feel becomes less clean. ABS may have to work with a tire that is not behaving as expected. High pressure reduces the contact patch. Less rubber touching the road properly means less grip, especially on wet surfaces. That can increase stopping distance when every foot matters. This is the part owners do not like to think about. A few PSI may be the difference between stopping behind the car in front and tapping the bumper. In rain, that margin gets smaller. At motorway speed, it gets smaller again. Mercedes builds safety into the car. Correct tire pressure is one of the easiest ways to keep that safety working as designed. The next issue is more modern, and it affects the electronic systems many owners trust without thinking. Number 8. Your electronic systems. Work from a bad baseline, modern Mercedes cars watch everything. Wheel speed, steering angle, brake input, acceleration, suspension movement, traction, stability. The car is constantly comparing what you want with what the tires appear to be doing. Tire pressure affects that picture. A soft tire can have a slightly different rolling diameter. A stiff tire can react differently over bumps. A tire with the wrong contact patch can slip, flex, or grip in a way the system was not expecting. That does not mean the electronics suddenly stop working. It means they may not respond as cleanly as they would with tires set to the correct pressure. ESP, traction control, adaptive damping, steering assist, and ABS all work best when the tires are doing their part. There is another mistake owners make after correcting pressure. They forget the TPMS reset. On many Mercedes models, once you adjust tire pressure correctly, the TPMS needs to learn the new baseline. If you skip that step, the car may still be comparing pressure behavior against the old setting. The reset procedure usually takes less than a minute through the vehicle menu. Check your manual for the exact steps. A Mercedes can only protect you properly when the basics are correct. Number 7 is going to make a lot of people feel stupid because it is something almost every Mercedes owner does. It sounds completely logical, and it is completely wrong. Number 7. You put the same pressure in every tire. Most owners inflate all 4 tires to the same pressure. That sounds logical, but it is often wrong. Many Mercedes models require different pressure at the front and rear. The front axle and rear axle do not do the same job. The front tires handle steering and much of the braking force. The rear tires may handle more drive force, more load, and different stability demands. Mercedes accounts for that with separate front and rear numbers. The fuel filler flap may show one pressure for the front and another for the rear. It may also show a different set of numbers for a loaded car. Those numbers are not suggestions to average out. They are separate instructions. If the label says the rear needs more pressure than the front, putting 32 PSI in every tire means both axles are wrong. The front may be low, the rear may be very low. The car now loses the balance Mercedes designed into it. This is why a pressure gauge should be used with the sticker, not with memory. Now just hold tight because the next mistake happens even when you set the pressure correctly once. Number 6. Temperature changes. The tire pressure changes with temperature. That means the number you set in autumn may not be the number you have in winter. The number you set on a cold morning may not match what the tire shows after a long, hot drive. As temperature drops, pressure drops. As temperature rises, pressure rises. This is why TPMS warnings often appear when seasons change. The system is not being dramatic. The air inside the tire has changed pressure with the weather. Mercedes expects pressure to be checked when the tires are cold. That means before a long drive, not after the tire is heated up on the road. Owners who only check pressure when a warning light appears are already late. The better habit is simple. Check monthly. Check when the weather changes. Check before long trips. Check before winter gets serious. One pressure check at the wrong time of year does not protect you forever. Number 5 catches people at the absolute worst time. Most owners make this mistake right before their longest, heaviest drive of the year. Number 5. Load changes everything. Your Mercedes does not weigh the same every day. One driver on a normal commute is one condition. A full family, luggage, roof box, and a long motorway trip is another condition entirely. More weight changes what the tires have to support. That is why Mercedes pressure labels often include different values for normal load and heavy load. Those numbers matter. The heavier the car gets, the harder each tire works. Extra pressure is not about comfort there. It is about keeping the tire properly supported under real weight. If you load the car for a holiday and never adjust the tire pressure, the rear tires may be carrying far more weight than they were inflated to handle. That can increase heat, deformation, wear, braking distance, and suspension stress. SUV owners should pay special attention here. GLC, GLE, GLS, and estate models often get used for family trips, airport runs, towing, and heavy luggage. That is exactly when pressure matters most. The fix is simple. Before a loaded trip, check the sticker. Set the pressure for the load you're actually carrying. When the trip is over and the car returns to normal use, adjust it again. If you have ever packed the boot full and never touched the tire pressure, drop guilty in the comments. You are not the only one. The next point is about a dashboard light that gives many owners false confidence. Number 4. TPMS does not mean your pressure is correct. The TPMS warning light is useful. It is not a perfect pressure gauge. Many owners think no warning light means the pressure is correct. That is not true. It usually means the pressure has not fallen far enough to trigger the warning. A tire can be several PSI away from the correct setting and still not show a warning. During that time, it can still wear unevenly, waste fuel, affect steering, and change braking behavior. The TPMS is there to alert you when a pressure problem becomes significant. It is not there to replace a manual pressure check. That matters for Mercedes owners because the correct numbers may already be higher or more specific than expected. If the sticker says one number and the tire is below it, the absence of a warning does not make the tire correct. A good pressure gauge is still one of the cheapest tools a Mercedes owner can buy. Check the tires cold. Compare the readings to the fuel filler flap. Set front and rear separately. Reset TPMS when required. Number 3 is the one nobody warns you about, because everything you have ever been told about tire pressure only covers half the problem. Number 3, overinflation makes road impacts more dangerous. Most tire pressure warnings focus on low pressure. High pressure can be a problem too. An overinflated tire becomes stiffer. It has less ability to flex when it hits a pothole, road joint, or sharp edge. That impact has to go somewhere. More of it can travel into the tire structure, wheel, suspension, and steering components. That can increase the risk of impact damage. This does not mean every overinflated tire will blow out. Underinflation is also a major cause of heat buildup and tire failure. The real message is simpler. Both directions are bad. Too low creates heat, flex, and shoulder wear. Too high creates a harsh ride, reduced contact patch center wear, and less impact cushioning. Correct pressure gives the tire the safety margin Mercedes intended. At motorway speed, tire failure is not a small problem. The handling systems may react quickly, but they cannot make a damaged tire perfect again. Prevention is better than reaction. The next point sounds technical, but it explains why some owners keep buying alignments without fixing the real issue. Number 2, your alignment can look wrong. Even when it was set right, Mercedes suspension geometry is set under specific conditions. Correct tire pressure is one of those conditions. When pressure is far too low, the tire can change the effective ride height and contact behavior enough to affect how the car sits and wears its tires. The alignment machine may show one thing in the shop, while the car behaves differently on the road after the tires are run at the wrong pressure. That is why some owners see edge wear even after an alignment. They blame the shop, they blame the tires, they blame the car. Sometimes the alignment was not the first problem. The tire pressure was. Wrong pressure can create wear patterns that look like suspension or alignment problems. Feathering, shoulder wear, center wear, and strange handling can all start with the tire not sitting on the road correctly. A proper diagnosis should always begin with the basics: correct tire size, correct pressure, correct load setting, cold tire reading, then alignment. Skipping those steps is how owners spend money without solving the cause. Number 1 is the most unsettling point on this entire list, because it means you could be doing everything right, checking every box, and still be damaging your Mercedes every single day. Number 1, the damage starts before you notice anything. This is the part most Mercedes owners miss. Tire pressure damage is quiet. You do not get a warning light when the tire starts wearing slightly wrong. You do not hear a noise the first day a bushing takes extra stress. You do not feel a huge difference the first week your fuel economy drops. The car does not announce that braking distance has changed. The damage builds slowly. Every mile driven at the wrong pressure adds a little more tire wear, a little more heat, a little more suspension load, a little more fuel cost, and a little less precision. By the time you notice, the pattern has already been there for weeks or months. That is why the 32 PSI habit is so dangerous. It feels normal, it sounds reasonable, it is easy to remember. It may even be close to correct on some cars in some conditions. Close is not the same as correct. Your Mercedes already tells you what it needs. Open the fuel filler flap, read the sticker, check the front number, check the rear number. Look at the load condition. Set the tires cold. Reset TPMS if your model requires it. That whole process costs almost nothing. Ignoring it can cost tires, fuel, comfort, steering precision, braking confidence, and suspension life. Mercedes precision depends on small things being right. Tire pressure is one of the smallest things to fix and one of the easiest things to ignore. Check it once this week, then make it a monthly habit. That tiny routine could save tires, protect suspension parts, improve comfort, and keep your Mercedes feeling like Mercedes intended. Drop a comment right now telling me what PSI you have been running and what your Mercedes sticker actually says. I want to know how many owners are checking that label today for the first time. Click the video on the left if you want to see the 15 Mercedes maintenance mistakes that are quietly shortening the life of your car. If you do not want to miss more practical Mercedes content every week, hit that subscribe button and join us for the next one. We will see you there.